I'm actually on my way home now, but just wanted to pass through this way. I'm not sure if you've ever been to this place before, but this is called New Manila, or part of New Manila. And we're actually on Baleta Drive. And this was a very famous place back in the days because of an alleged ghost that appeared in this place before. So they used to call the ghost of Balete, or the White Lady of Balete Drive. So this is how the road looks like. But this was a plushy place of Manila before. So apparently the history of this place was this was bought back in the early 1900s by Dona Hemady, and who got to marry Don Ismael, and they wanted to develop a new place for the new rich, for the rich people, the elite of Manila during its day. And that's why they developed this place in the early 1930s. And this is part of New Manila. I'm on Dona Hemady Street. So they actually named the street Dona Hemady after the developer or the owner of this large estate that was turned into New Manila. And beside me is the Pink Sisters Chapel. On my way here, I just accidentally passed through a famous house or mansion that started the investigation of a president of the Republic of the Philippines way back 2001. And the name of that mansion was Boracay Mansion. And one of the reasons why it became infamous was when he was building that mansion, apparently he used sand from Boracay Beach, which was supposed to be as fine as powder, talcum powder. That's why they called it Boracay Mansion. So if you're lucky, you might still see some heritage houses here. A lot of the properties here are built on very large lands, and they're now sought after by developers who convert them into condominiums or townhouses. So I'm actually walking along Broadway, which is still part of New Manila. This is a large estate that was owned by another group of Catholic organization who eventually sold it to Dona Hemady and her husband Ismael, Don Ismael. These are just examples of the new townhouses that are being built here. So I guess if you start building for the elite, there won't be any issues about selling this, because I could just picture this place back in the back in those days, especially 1930s, 1940s, and eventually after the war, when a lot of people were moving out of Manila. So as I cross the street, this is the former residence of the owner of LVN, Doña Sisang. Good thing it still exists until now. That's a picture of the house from the gate. That's how houses in this place looks before. And also another thing you will notice when you come to this place is that there are a lot of convents or residences of other church organizations, but they're now in smaller sizes. This is now part of Quezon City. I think history goes that she donated 5 hectares of this property to Manuel when he was developing the new city that will be produced or developed outside of Manila. Some of the old houses that still exist here. Beautiful. Across the street is Villa Caridad. It's an old property, but you could tell it was probably built from the 1930s or probably about that time. It's a neoclassic design. You could just imagine how this looks during its day, and it has a winding staircase. Beautiful. The street is lined with a lot of mango trees. During season, you could see a lot of small kids picking those fruits from these trees. Here's another classic house. This house is under renovation. Beautiful house. It's a new development. It's like a new townhouse or a new building that they're constructing. That means another vintage house that was demolished for a new building. On my right is a inconspicuous property. The house looks very simple and ordinary, but it's in a prime location. And over to the left of that house is another old house. I think that dates back to early 1900s. Anyway, I hope I could take a picture of the house from above the gate. Another old house. And there's a stretch limousine in a driveway. Looks like they're doing some special occasion. This would be for posterity because one day these houses will be gone. The houses of New Manila. And in the 1950s they built this church along this road, which is Broadway, and it was Mount Carmel Church. Last year it became a national shrine. Across the church is another vintage house. If I'm not mistaken, this is the Goworth house. Anyway, I have to check it later. I've always been fascinated with these apartments because they were fashioned with an American architectural design. Quite cool. This is a new building. It's a Buddhist temple. So if I head towards that direction, that is now I think it's Aurora Boulevard. I'll end my vlog here. Across me is Broadway Centrum. That was developed around mid-1970s. Very popular during that time. They had a cinema before that featured love seats. And in front of me is the LRT line. It goes to Marikina. And if you go that direction, that goes to Manila. Goes all the way to Divisoria.